in the wrong way.
Hello and welcome to episode 80. Woot, 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 woot. Number 80 of our Conversation to Connect, Let's Get Real podcast powered by Exceptional Connections. I'm Cyndi ONeill-Dady, the founder and chief connector of Exceptional Connect. We are celebrating our 16th anniversary this year. So grateful. So our conversation to connect this week is with the amazing, fabulous, inspiring Tina Tesch-Myers joining us from Seattle, Washington. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh my goodness. I'm so excited to be able to basically roll up sleeves here and really discuss your topic that you shared with our Exceptional Connections community last week.
Hmm.
You shared about cleaning the oceans without leaving home.
Yeah.
So before we dive into this conversation, I want to take a moment to introduce our listeners to you and your passion for Move Me and changing lives, homes, and our planet, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So all of the all of Tina's career paths have led her to her mission, Move Me.
Hmm.
The background in food, nutrition, and understanding how the body functions, Tina brings deep insight into the human body. Pair that with her love for the ocean, her second home, and it's clear why she's so passionate about bridging the well being of people and the planet. Through storytelling, advocacy, and practical everyday solutions, Tina now dedicates her work to helping people reduce plastic use, reconnect with purpose, and make choices that nurture both ourselves and our world. So,
Hmm.
thank you so much, Tina. I'm so excited to be able to have this discussion with you. And so, um, share with our listeners a little bit more about your journey before we dive in here. Dive in, get it?
Catch that wave. Um,
That's right.
well, yeah, my journey, has been ongoing. And I would remember even years and years and years ago, before I started Move Me, I would walk into Costco and other department stores, and I would see mainly Costco, and I'd see all of these pallets of water in plastic. And it wasn't just one, it would be like six or seven, just fully decked up high. And it would make me cry inside to think that all of that goes into the ocean or the landfill, more the ocean than the landfill. And it's continuous. So for me, it was so overwhelming that I didn't want to step into it, but I knew how it really affected me deeply. But then you switch off and you go, I can't go deeper because this really isn't my problem. And then Joaquin's famous sentence on the beach in Australia was, you guys have screwed up this environment for us and we have to clean it up, which he's meaning we, his generation. And he was 13 years old at the time. And I said, well, why don't we start now? And I've always wanted to start doing it, but at the beginning, to be quite honest, I was running in the opposite direction because I had no feeling of self-worth, or I wasn't a PhD. I didn't know the research on plastic. But the more I became involved with it, with Joaquin, the more I realized I have to do something. And for me, it was more from the grassroots, from everyone at home, to talk to people, to make them understand just small little shifts and make a profound change in the long run. And you may not feel that, but over 30 days or 4 months, you'll look back and you'll go, oh, that 10 minutes of having my cup or changing my shampoo out or changing the scrubby in my kitchen gradually becomes a natural way of being, reducing the plastic. So it makes it a little bit effortless. And so you don't feel overwhelmed, but you feel like you are really contributing in a different way with deeper purpose. And it's amazing after a year what changes in your family home and how that health just shifts. And your friends and your family start seeing, well, where's this? And why do you use this toilet paper? And you've got a shower curtain, but you've got it outside drying. So it's the little nuances that you do every day that really impact your health. I mean, it is phenomenal how much you can reduce in your daily habits by changing out on just simple your deodorant, your shampoo, and everything. It's quite amazing how you can put a dent in the amount of nanoparticles and microplastics that you absorb in your system.
That's beautiful. And multiply that by 10 people,
Yeah,
100 people, 1,000 people,
yeah,
100,000, million people
yeah.
doing those small little actions. And what I love about what you just said is it's not only the actions, but it's the mindset that changes
Hmm.
time. And
Yeah,
then from there, our buying habits. So
yeah.
we'll be less likely to pick up the water bottles or the what have you,
Hmm.
that would contribute to the denigration of our oceans and ecology and all of that.
Yeah,
Well, that was a beautiful opening. I really appreciate that. That was great because, it comes from a passion,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
it
and
does.
and passions are caught too.
Hmm.
And so your son, I can see him being an advocate in all of this, and as he, um, gets older and is able to step into it. But what a beautiful example that you've made as a mother to be able to, that your son knows that you really heard him. He's
Hmm.
been heard by you, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's amazing.
Thank you.
So you shared so much amazing information. And so I want to talk about that and kind of, be able to really dig deeper and learn more about how we can transform our homes and as a result, make a difference in the world.
Oh, yeah,
So your topic is, really about cleaning the oceans without stepping out on the beach,
yeah,
leaving your home. So let's talk about that. Let's start there.
yeah, absolutely. So people have this conception that they've got to go to the beach to clean it, to make a difference. And please do. I mean, whenever I go to the beach, I always take a bag and pick up rubbish. But I want people to understand what they do at home also goes into the beach, from your scrubbies that you use in the kitchen that are maybe a little bit of sponge, which is a natural product you can get, but then they've made the hard core of the top out of plastic. And so every time you're scrubbing something, you're putting microplastic in the water, which then goes out into the ocean. So making people mindful that your scrubbies, your brushes that you use for cleaning pots and pans and everything throws off particles of microfibers and plastic. And it looks clean because the water looks really lovely and you don't see it, but it is an amazing amount. There's a lady who says that each week we place in one plastic bag of microfibers just from our washing clothes, because the consumption of plastic in our clothes is massive in this country, from all the polyester blends and the mixers and certain athletic clothing, the leggings. They feel really comfortable, but they're all pure plastic. And we don't think of plastic as soft and pliable and cozy to wear, but it truly is. And it's sort of like working our way back into natural fibers is a great way, from the cottons to the wools to there's a great product now that's coming out and it's clothing made out of bamboo and seaweed. And they're both renewable and really easy to manage.
I love bamboo. Bamboo is amazing. We have bamboo sheets and they're
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
some, when it's cold, when it's hot. And so I love your awareness, giving awareness on the clothing, because I don't think enough people talk about the textiles and, how that impacts I mean, we wear it.
Yeah.
It's on our skin, right? And
Hmm.
we perspire, and so our body temperature changes, and I'm sure that affects things as well. I know that you've been very conscientious about wearing, you know, wool and cotton, like you
Yeah.
say, and
Yeah.
pashmina and different things
Yeah.
so you're a wonderful role model for that. So when you shared with our community last week, you shared about, and was kind of alarming, but at the same time, it's good to know, the effects of microplastics found in the human body. Tell us
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
about that and how it really impacts our health.
We just assume that the nanoparticles and the microplastics just leave. They come in and they just, you know, we discard them out. But what people don't understand is the nanoparticles, they are so small, they go through the blood-brain barrier. They go into our whole circulatory system. And we need blood to feed our organs. The blood system gives us oxygen and nutrients to everywhere. And now they're finding that nanoparticles are in there very freely. And from there, those nanoparticles are shards, and those shards come together and form clots. And unfortunately, because it goes through the blood-brain barrier, you may experience a clot in your brain, which is a stroke. And also in your heart, it's a heart attack. You may feel kidney dysfunction, and as well as in the pelvic floor, where people are starting to say, well, I'm losing a little bit of feeling in my feet and my toes and my lower legs. Is this neuropathy? And a lot of it's coming from your pelvis, where the nanoparticles and microfibers are clotting. It's more the nanos that are clotting the whole system, which can cause thrombosis in your lower legs. And it's because we don't see it, we just don't really believe it. But doing so much research on what nanoparticles do, it's actually really terrifying. And a lot of it comes into our food. When we store our food in plastic, it absorbs. When we heat up our food in plastic in a microwave, because I must admit, in Australia, I never saw a takeout dinner, frozen, that you put in the microwave to heat up. When I first arrived here, I was amazed at the food that was coming in these little containers, and they're all plastic. So our bodies have been subjected to this amount of plastic continuously since the 1950s and 60s, when it became really quite large, as well as the Tupperware and everything. And Tupperware, my mother loved, but I just didn't like the smell of it. And my mum would say, she was German, and she goes, it's from America and it's good.
You had that endorsement from your mom, right?
Oh, yeah. But we do. And the frightening thing is the only way to get these clots out of your system at this moment, I'm hoping they're going to formulate something to dissolve it, is through surgery. You can't take the clots out unless it's surgery. At this moment, I am really hopeful into the future. We have
Hmm.
amazing young people coming through who have the most creative minds. And I'm really crossing my fingers that they can help humanity with doing maybe a chelation of getting the nanoparticles out of the bloodstream. But I know there is research. I don't know personally. I know within my heart there must be research, but no one's found something that's really sustainable to do
So
it.
the normal detox that you would use for mercury and
Yeah.
those type of things aren't effective for
No,
plastic. right?
No, no,
Wow.
plastic is such a different component.
Wow. Wow. Okay, I want to go back to something you said about, the nanoparticles and how it affects us, as
Yeah,
humans. But I was thinking, the fish ingest the nanoplastics.
I know.
And then that goes into our food chain and we eat
Mhm.
it. So it's kind of like a double whammy there too.
It is, it is. And that's what's terrifying. And the fish and the sea life absorb so much more. I mean, oysters are renowned for cleaning the ocean. If you have oyster beds near where you swim, it's incredibly clean. The water is amazingly clean. But I don't want to eat an oyster because they clean everything out. I mean,
Right.
that's what oysters do.
Well, that's shrimp too. Isn't that the case for shrimp? Shrimp are bottom dwellers as well.
Yeah, yeah, shrimp. I think there's lots of fish that are bottom dwellers, and
Mhm.
then you get the larger fish like the sharks that eat the smaller fish.
Right. Right.
So it's just, it's worrying to me. It's just like,
Yeah.
not that I mean, I love seafood, the salmon and everything, but it gets to the point, well, do I really want to ingest all of the plastic that they have got in their system?
hmm Is there a country that is more on top, like Norway? Because I know a lot of times I see Norwegian salmon or something from those waters. Is there a waterway that you found that is cleaner? They're more conscientious?
I think the Scandinavians are, for their reputation is always they have some of the cleanest waters and they have some of the cleanest fish oils for us to take for our brain system. And I would I'd be more inclined to have there. I'd always have wild caught. I would never have
Right.
anything farmed because
Absolutely.
the farmed are caged and penned, and what
Right.
they feed is, you know, not
Yes, and
nice.
also all the antibiotics that they're
Yeah,
fed because
yeah,
they're in close quarters, the
yeah,
disease spreads, and then they're in their own excrement. It's just not it's just nasty. You don't want to eat
yeah, yeah,
farm, but they're sneaky about it because I'll read packages and they don't come out and say farm, but then if you really read carefully, you can see it is farm.
yeah, yeah,
So you always
yeah.
want to look for that wild and
Wild, yeah,
dangerous
wild caught.
wild caught,
I
right?
say wild farmed now too, sometimes.
I saw one like that.
And you
Yes.
see the wild, oh yeah, and then you take it home, it's wild farmed. I mean, no.
Yeah, they're sneaky. They're sneaky
Yeah,
out there in their marketing. It's not good. Um, well, okay. So we start with that because we want to share like how important an issue this is,
yeah,
how
it
important
is.
it is to be aware of this as consumers and also, to kind of get us in line as soldiers to do our part, right? And make a
Hmm,
difference in the
hmm.
world and have that multiply. So I love what you shared, and I think it bears repeating about what you do with the cup when you go to say, get your coffee,
Yeah,
how
yeah.
that impacts um, the plastic that you're ingesting if you take their cup that appears to be
Paper.
paper,
Yeah.
but in reality,
It's not. See, it's, when people go, but it's paper. And I go,
mhm,
oh, yes, on the outside, but inside it's lined with plastic. And that's the plastic that is, for me, some of the most deadly. Because once you get your takeaway coffee, the hot water, within 10 minutes or less, 25,000 nanoparticles are in your coffee or your hot chocolate or your chai or your tea. And then you drink that. Now, think of drinking, not many people in Seattle have one coffee. They usually have two or three. And if in the afternoon they may have a chai that's non-caffeinated or a decaf coffee. But if you're having two or three a day in this paper cup with the plastic, you're absorbing so much nanoparticles that go into your bloodstream. And that's just one simple thing. And when I was doing research on bottled water, I mean, one 16-ounce bottled water was 125,000 nanoparticles. That's just one bottle. And it's horrifying to think how many people, when you see these amazing athletes running or biking, and then they get the plastic and they start drinking it. And I'm going, you've got your whole system open. Everything is really pumping and really circulating.
Right.
And you are drinking that plastic water full of nanoparticles. And it's just going into your system even deeper.
Oh my goodness. That is an incredible visual there because, like you say, our athletes are somebody they're conscientious of their health. They
No,
want to
I know.
make a difference and they put in the effort. Um,
Hmm.
so what I'm thinking about here is what I've learned about plastic bottles myself is that plastic is, and I'm not sure I'm going to use the right term, but activated comes to mind when, it's stored and it's in the truck and it's hot and then it
Yep.
gets cold. So the temperature
Hmm.
variance
Yeah.
really, my understanding is it really affects, um, how dangerous the plastic is to humans because
Yeah.
it
Yeah. Yeah.
activates in a way.
And then sometimes you can smell it when you open the bottle and you go, oh, it's got a funny smell, but it looks good.
Right.
It's okay.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, and what do people do, when they're concerned about, a storm coming or crisis or preparedness? All these pallets of water. Remember during COVID, people were just going crazy over toilet paper and water.
Yes, I know. Yeah. And what I would think everyone should have is please do not drink tap water. Please do not wash your fruits and vegetables with tap water. But get a filtering system. You can get one. I mean, I've got a really high quality one under my sink. I didn't mind paying $400 for it. But I use one filter, which is about $100 a year. That's all it is. And I use that for everything, for my drinking, for my cooking, for my cleaning, and not cleaning the floors, but cleaning my fruits and vegetables. And then I have just some stainless steel. I have one or two glass bottles, but you don't need a massively big 32 or 48-ounce bottle. Have something that's smaller and really easy to fill. And the best places to fill, you get the best water in coffee shops because they have to filter their water so many times to go into their coffee machine. So you know that they've got really good filtered water. Make
Mm,
sure that there's a filtered, it's connected to the filter. Some coffee shops have it separate and they just fill a jug from the tap into a glass container.
mm,
Coffee shops, and and if they say, well, I said, just donate 25 cents. It's really cheap and efficient to have, and you will save so much water. I mean, so much money from just having your own. You don't have to have the plastic. Also, in airports now, they've got filtered water that you can bring your container there to fill up. And it'll tell you how much water or how many plastic containers you've saved from not going into the ocean. And then you'll hear it go drip, drip, drip as it's filtering or, giving you your water. And you're finding that more and more around.
Okay, so let's move to something you alluded to at the very beginning. You talked about toothbrushes, and then I'm
Yeah.
curious about straws because there's a lot of plastic straws out there, but then the paper ones fall apart. So
Mhm.
got a
Mm.
dilemma with that.
Well, there's also a new new straws coming out, and they're made out of bamboo. So those are a lot more sturdier. They also, you have glass straws, which I'm a little bit hesitant, or stainless steel. And when you get stainless steel straws, they do have a cleaner that you have. And please, if you have stainless steel, just know you also have to clean your container. It's really important because people just think, oh, we're getting filtered water, it's clean. But the bacteria and everything that you drink from, and whether it's your saliva going back down in or whatever, you have to clean your containers. And
That's a really good point. So I have these containers that I do my shakes in, and
mhm.
I left water in one and I went back and checked it and it was all slimy. I mean, it was
Yeah,
just, so the plastic breaks down.
yeah.
And so that was a good reminder. I noticed that in stainless steel, if you store water in stainless steel, it doesn't tend to do that.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. No, it
If it's
doesn't.
clean to begin with and doesn't get contaminated, like you mentioned with your saliva or what have. I
Yeah,
mean, if you're
yeah,
drinking it, that's one thing. But if
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
storing it, it seems to store well in
And you can drink it. You've got the water in there for, 2 or 3 days. You can still drink it.
right,
But for me, it's just like after 2 days, I get rid of it. And it's just, I want fresh, but I also clean. I clean all of the containers at night.
right. Yeah, that's a good practice. Okay, let's move on here
Yeah, sure.
to do a drum roll for this one. The dreaded plastic cutting boards.
Oh, I know. I know.
Got me on that one.
Eh,
I have to just say before we get going here. So Tina came to my home and did a an audit basically. She went through my kitchen and we went through different rooms and I thought I was doing well because I'd been around Tina a while. So, I've been trying to just be more conscientious and but we all have areas that maybe we haven't thought of yet or we hadn't didn't have that education. So she came over and she actually said, you're doing really well. You're doing pretty good. This is a good start. Until she saw my plastic cutting board. And then she educated me on that. So I'm gonna turn it over to you to fill everybody else in because I was horrified.
yeah. Well, the plastic cutting boards, I mean, they're easy, and people think, oh, they don't carry bacteria like, like wood would, and, you can wash it off easier. But what people don't realize is when you're cutting and cutting continuously on the plastic cutting boards, all those microfibers go into your food, and that's what you eat. And the microfibers go into your digestion and your immune system. 85% of it is in your intestinal wall. So then you're adding plastic nano, not microfibers from the chopping board, and it can do like a barrier between your intestines and the immune system, as well as cramping. Sometimes they build up. And it's a simple change. I said, just get rid of it and put wood. And then people go, but wood. And I go, yes, but wood dissolves within your system. The acid from your stomach will also break it down if you have tiny micro wood. And wood is antibacterial. Just as long as you scrub it clean, it will kill all of the bacteria that's on there from your chicken or from your beef or from your seafood.
And it's good to change out still, even if you're
Yeah.
using wood,
Yeah. Oh, of
periodically.
course. Yeah. Yeah.
But I use teak, and in fact, I had some teak cutting boards, and I was saving them until my plastic one, got
Mhm.
nasty, and then I could change it out. And you're like, "Do it now, don't wait." And so I did it immediately, and I'm so grateful. In addition to that, I got rid of a few, and I had been weaning from plastic utensils
Yeah.
to wood utensils because I
Yeah.
love using wood utensils. They're so beautiful. And so that's another one, right, that can release harmful BPA's.
Oh, yeah. And what people don't realize, I was at what was it called? Not William and Sonoma kitchenware. And I walked in and they had these beautiful black cooking utensils with wooden handles. I mean, elegantly beautiful. And I'm looking at them and this woman wanted to buy them. And I'm just said, do you know why it's black? And she goes, oh, because it looks elegant and beautiful. And I go, well, also, you don't want plastic to melt or catch on fire because it does normally. So they have to put in a fire retardant
Oh dear.
inside and it goes black. And that's why they keep it really black. And I'm just going, you're cooking with fire retardant in your food, which people don't realize. And as well as, when you've used it a long time, you'll get the burnt ends of your spatula or the fork, and that's been too hot on the fry pan or what. And that also leads into nanoparticles and microfibers going into your food.
Right. Well, okay. So it just occurred to me, normally on our conversation to connect, we have a dialogue for about 45 minutes, and then the last 15 minutes we open it up for
Mm,
viewers to ask questions. But I think it would be great if we just open it up now. And so
yeah, absolutely.
as we're going through things and having this conversation, I'd love to get feedback of those who are joining us today. Feel free to unmute yourself and just ask your questions if you're ready. If you're not, we can just add you towards the end, but feel free.
My question is, hi there, I'm Lori. Tina, when I first met you, I was confused with recycling versus what you're doing. And the more that I'm hearing you, the more I realize it's different. And so can you kind of explain that? It's like we're getting rid of all of these things that maybe aren't recyclable, but in the long run, it's making a bigger difference.
Yeah. Recycling plastic is it actually doesn't happen. It really doesn't. It may be 3 to 5% of whatever they bring forward. They will recycle. Otherwise, it's all put into the ocean or the landfill. It's recycling of plastic just really doesn't happen. If you really want the plain truth, it doesn't. They have the recycling bins to make you feel good. So it's like, and when you look at what people are recycling, really, it's plastic bags. And I just go, please don't have your one carrot in one bag and your potato in another one and, your onion in another one. Leave
They
them.
like each other.
Yeah, they are, they're not going to get contaminated. So, in that sense, that's what I want people to be aware of because when you see the recycling, it really is mainly plastic bags, plastic carry bags. And these are things that we can change daily. We don't have to
Mm.
take it.
I've had that suspicion that that's not really making a
It
difference.
does
It's
it,
just it's to make the public feel better, but
yeah,
isn't really making a difference.
and you'll see it, all genres of people, different ages, will always grab all these plastic bags. When I was in Whole Foods one day, not recently, because they have now compostable bags. All of their bags now, when you get your fruit and veg, they're all compostable. So, but this was like 2 or 3 years ago. I put everything just in my trolley and went to get my meat. And I'm very clear with the butchers and Whole Foods that nothing goes in plastic. Just put it in the paper, wrap it up. I know that paper has a little bit, but it's not a plastic bag.
Mm.
And so this one woman looked at me and she goes, I have to ask you a question. Why don't you put your food in plastic bags? And I looked at her and I go, because I love the ocean and I don't want it to go in. And she just looked at me and she goes, oh, now I get it. And it was just one simple act.
Wow. I
You
feel
love
like
your
yours,
body.
yeah, and yours is the bigger picture, and it's almost like we're being deceived to think, go ahead, use the plastic, just recycle it. But it's like, what if we don't use it? Then
We don't have
so
to
I
recycle it.
love that, and that's just been a process of seeing you and hearing you. It didn't really take in the beginning. I don't know if you remember our first interview. I was like, this is about recycling, and you're like, yeah, not really. So I appreciate that
Yeah,
education.
yeah, yeah. And it's our daily habits that we're used to. And it's just being aware of just changing one habit. Just change it. Just, it's okay. They can veggies and can go together. And if I have to have like something, I'll go get a paper bag. I put my apples in a paper bag. That they've always got the paper bags with the mushrooms. They're always there for the mushrooms. So I'll go and grab a few extra and put, if I have to. But even, going there and trying to buy fruit and that, the strawberries or the berries, they're always in plastic. It is so frustrating. And then you see the cauliflower. What is this now with cauliflower? Every cauliflower has wrapped in plastic. It never used to be. And I'm trying to understand, why did they change?
Mhm.
I don't know. That I don't know. And cucumbers too. I go, no, no, I don't. I don't want my cucumbers in plastic.
They
I'll
keep
just get.
them fresh longer if they're in.
No, actually, it doesn't. When I was reading an article on what not to put in the fridge, and cucumbers was number one.
Right,
You never have them in the fridge, you have them outside.
right. A tip I became aware of is pay attention to how they refrigerate or do not refrigerate things at the store.
Hmm.
So at Costco, the cucumbers are out on the floor. They're not in so
The chill
yeah,
area.
in the refrigerator area. So that's one thing I do is like tomatoes. People say put tomatoes in your refrigerator. No, don't put
No,
them in
no.
your refrigerator. Okay, so Chuck,
Yeah, I got a comment. I think, Tina, you're so right on this. I remember, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, sitting at a Starbucks one day. I was sitting out front in one of the tables, and I noticed that they had taken the garbage out. They were taking, they got the three bins there.
Yeah, yeah.
They had taken them out, and they put them in a cart. So they had a big pile of things. And I watched them. They went to where they kept their dumpsters. And I noticed that they just dumped them all in one dumpster.
I know. Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, what? I was shocked. I go, hold it. Where's the dumpster for compost? Where's the dumpster for recycle? And so
Hmm.
I asked the young lady there, she says, oh no, we just dump them all in the same one. And then I noticed that's where it's at time and time again, and I'm like, oh, we've been duped here. So
Yeah.
to your point, it really starts with yourself.
Hmm. Hmm.
And when you do restaurants, they all do the same thing. They're just putting them in commercial dumpsters.
Yeah, they do.
And I know I've asked our garbage guy out here, I says, well, how do we recycle this stuff? He goes, let me just tell you a secret. I go, what? He goes, if in doubt, just throw it out.
Oh, wow.
That was, and I go, oh, because I'd be at Starbucks and I'd be sitting there 5 minutes trying to figure out what bin to put it in.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
do the right thing. And I thought, I guess I'm a jerk.
Well, it's just that we are led to believe that recycling really works and is really happening.
No.
But it doesn't. I mean, it really doesn't. And it's really disheartening to find out. So what I did one day was, because I wanted to make cauliflower soup. So I bought my cauliflower at a place, and then when I checked out, I took the plastic off and gave it to the attendant. And she goes, "What's that for?" And I go, "I don't want this on my cauliflower. You insist on having it here in your shop so then you can get the plastic. And you know, it's something that I'm just like, no. When being in Australia, we have a lot of ocean birds and seabirds, and they're finding that so many of them are dying from malnutrition because they're eating so much of little nanoparticle, or not nano, particles of plastic on the beach, thinking it's food or shell or something. And they cut open the abdomen because they're dying through starvation. And you'll see the whole abdomen is just full of plastic. It's just full of the plastic that they're picking up on the beaches and eating.
That's
So
tragic.
it's tragic, and they've been trying to do filtering on beaches at home where they've got these big grates, and they'll take up all of those little pieces that we tend to think is not that bad.
Wow.
It really is. It's and just trying really just to be more mindful.
Right.
Just a small action, a small change is really what really helps your health and definitely has an incredible impact on this planet.
So Kim, I see you have your hand up. Unmute yourself and love to have you chime in.
Hi. I missed the beginning. Sorry. I don't know. Did you talk about like microfiber fabrics at all? Because it's like I remember reading an article like years and years ago about fish having like a buildup of microfibers in their gills from the, washing. When we wash the microfibers, it puts these little fibers out. And so like, I've always like, I don't want any more microfiber than I have to have, but I was just wondering if you've talked about that at all or what you think of that.
We did talk a little bit, but I'll expand on that. And it's just, when you buy your clothing, really have a look at the ingredient. If it's got nylon or polyester, that's plastic. You really do. You may have to do a little bit more hunting here for clothing that doesn't have it. A lot of active sportswear is pure plastic, and that's when it's heartbreaking. There is a woman in Sweden, or she's in Denmark. I can't remember. She's Scandinavian, and she has an attachment that you put on your washing machine that when all the water from your washing cycle goes through there and it collects all of the microfibers, and the rest of the water then goes into the ocean or into the waterways, which is cleaner. And in Europe, they're making that mandatory now, that you have to have a connection that filters out those microfibers from your clothes that go into the ocean. In Australia, I think it's next year, it's mandatory that every washing machine has to have this incorporated within their washing cycle.
That's what I was just thinking. It should be, the onus should be on the manufacturers.
As well as us asking for it.
Yes, yes. And for older machines having an attachment, but yes, that's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really glad to hear that invention. I didn't know that had happened. So that's really cool.
I've been trying to contact her because I'd love to showcase her in Move Me, so people can just go straight to her website and get it for their washing machines.
That's great awareness. It's awesome. Any other questions? Feel free to raise your hand or chime in like Kim did. Patrice, and then Lori.
Hi, Tina.
Hello, Patrice.
I guess what I struggle with are cosmetics.
I know.
Cosmetics and shampoo and conditioner, all of those things are all packaged in plastic. Do you have any suggestions of how to get around all that?
At the moment, I use a shampoo that are bars, And you can buy them in Fred Meyer and PCC. I don't know about PCC, but I know here in Ballard we have the Central Market as well as a Ballard Market. And they have a great bar soap. And they've got 5 or 6 different varieties for delicate hair, for more volume. And that's what I do. It takes a little while to get used to the conditioner. And as they say on the box, they said, be patient with the conditioner. But I use that now and I love it. I mean, I really do. Cosmetics are another realm. And that is really hard. So now I really diligently, I have what's called the Yuka app on my phone. It's Yuka, Yuka, and it's free. You don't pay for it. And you can go and scan. So I try and get my products all in glass. And there is one company, it's in Oregon, and all of her products are in glass. And the Yuka app has it as really good products and good quality. Cosmetics and makeup, there are more and more transitioning through to glass. There's a couple from Korea that are doing it that I'm investigating. They also have 1 or 2 products in plastic, but the plastic is a different one that decomposes really fast. So it looks like plastic, like your normal hard plastic, but it's one that the Koreans are really adamant that it breaks down really fast. So, and it doesn't off gas. That's what I've been led to believe. So it is when people come to me and they go, please, would you be a spokesperson for our products? And 1 or 2 of them, I said yes, because I only had everything in glass at the beginning. And now they've transitioned a lot of their products out into plastic. And I said, I can't support you because your 2 things that we started off together is all glass. And you were doing this for hormonal imbalances, but now you have your Epsom salts and you're soaking everything else in plastic. And I can't support that. And it's been tough. It's been, people get very, very upset with me when I go, I can't, because the first thing I say, is your product in plastic? And they'll go, well, yes. And I go, no, I can't do it. I can't. But there are some changing, and you can find some really good bar shampoos. And Patrice, I'll take a photo and I will share it with everyone later, the one that I use. And it's the one that I can just get here in Ballard Market.
Mhm. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's a great small shift that we can make. So Lori, you had a question also?
Well, that was mine, was the makeup.
Oh.
I'm from that generation. You get up and you put your makeup on.
Yeah. There is a company called Axion, and all of their products is in glass. And I've been trying to reach out for them to be, I'd love to be a representative for them people. And I found this one when I was in New York at the Little Salmon, which is a totally biodegradable, healthy store. And they had the full range originally last year, and this year it was a lot smaller. But Axion, I think it's called. I'll send it to you, Cyndi, and give you the proper name.
Okay, is it on your web? Well, it wouldn't be on your website.
No, not at the moment, no. But I'd like to. I want to have one page that I showcase, like the woman who has the filters for her washing machine, like other companies who go, no, we don't do affiliates. And I go, well, then can I at least let people know that you exist? And have a whole section on my website where you can really find amazing alternatives.
Thank you for that. That's awesome. Feel free to chime in. If not, I want to go back to our conversation about the everyday kitchen items, especially, or things that we use that there's swap us out
Yeah.
to healthy options. So we talked about the plastic cutting boards using wood, plastic utensils using wood, and then the danger of what they're doing, the flame retardant. Oh my gosh, that was horrifying. Flame retardant in your spoons, and how that's activated by heat, and obviously how that affects us. So what about plastic containers, skirts, aluminum foil, right? We know about the dangers of that. And then your revelation about air fryers.
Oh, I know. It's when I look at air fryers and they're all black, and I'm going, you know what the basis of that is. But I don't know 100%, so I can't really say that. All I know is that air fryers that are plastic, the amount of nanoparticles that get dumped into the food is quite dramatic. But you can get air fryers now that are all stainless steel. Even if they say the air fryers is with a non-stick surface, I go, no, that's just as bad as the all plastic, because the Teflon exudes a certain amount of chemicals which are incredibly unhealthy for your hormones, for your system, for your liver, and for your kidneys. And let's not forget the brain on top of all of that.
So stainless steel is king, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. For me, it is. Okay, you have to wipe it. You do have to clean it. I mean, that's part and parcel of life. But there's one that you can, if I've never seen it, but I remember when I was looking for toasters, a little toaster oven, and I couldn't get any because they were all non-stick. But the really old ones, the original ones, were ceramic based, where it was ceramic fired.
Mm.
But I don't see those anymore. And so the stainless steel, there's a company that's come out that I support it's called Our Home, and they have amazing air fryers that are all stainless steel. And then we have the aluminium, and people love wrapping their food in aluminium. It's totally inert when it's cold. So if you make a garlic butter and you put it in the freezer, that's okay. It only gets activated, aluminium, when it's with heat. And so when you cover your food with aluminium, you're making a condensation. And so the aluminum goes into your food, and that's what you eat. And then I tell people, and I said, please be really careful of cookies that you buy, quiches that you buy, tarts that you buy. If they're all in those little aluminium containers, it's toxic.
And not a lot of takeout is
No.
aluminum wrap. And I've asked different places, please put paper under it, or please
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
use that. And
yeah,
they don't
yeah,
have alternatives. So,
yeah, yeah.
that really speaks to, as consumers, we need to be vocal and verbal, and then what we purchase makes a difference too, and they will shift things accordingly. But yeah, aluminum is a heavy metal that's very
I know.
difficult to get out of your body and causes dementia and a
Mhm.
lot of different health challenges.
Oh, yeah, a lot of nerval health challenges, whether
Mhm.
it's autoimmune diseases through your digestion, but more so because heavy metals love fat, and your brain is 85% fat. And when you eat it, you got your sinuses, and it goes straight the pathway into your brain.
Right.
So, yeah,
So the alternative to aluminum is using, either
parchment paper.
parchment paper. Yeah, but you have to be
Yeah.
careful on parchment too, don't you?
Yeah, you don't want the bleached one.
Right.
You want the normal non-bleach, because the bleached one has it's been bleached with chemicals. So you want the parchment paper, which I didn't realize you could get white bleached parchment paper. I've always used the brown one, and that one is non-toxic. The bleached one, that's the one you don't want to use.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's toilet paper also. Toilet paper
Oh,
is
I know. I know. I mean, I had 3 friends within 1 month. And that's when I do deep diving. Do you know when you're given 3 problems within a short time? And 3 of my girlfriends all had cervical cancer. And 2 of them were absolute athletes, which really threw me. And the third one, she didn't have cervical, but she had polyps. And she just goes, where am I getting this? So I went and did a deep dive in her house. And that's when I really wasn't aware of the toilet paper issue. And I went, every one of these women used the same toilet paper. That was the only thing. I also got them to change their underwear. No more certain browns that are totally just plastic. They look gorgeous and they look really sexy, but you can't because it's pure plastic. So getting, not that you have to wear cottontails, which are grandma pants, but you can get some beautiful pure cotton underwear or wool. My husband only wears woolen underwear. I mean, it sounds weird, but it's really fine and really comfortable. Change that. That's the first thing you change. And the second thing is get rid of the toilet paper because it has so much plastic and chemicals in it. And as women, we pee a lot. We do. And when I've changed my toilet paper out to bamboo, non-toxic bamboo toilet paper. And it makes me feel better because I'm not constantly having chemicals. And for men as well. I mean, it's, men have prostrate issues. It's not just women.
Where do you get your bamboo toilet paper?
I get it sent to me every 2 months.
Okay.
It's called Reel, REEL, Reel. But Who Gives a Crap is a really, really good company. Check them out. And then there is Plant Paper. So there are 3 that I think you should all check out. And see the one, I like Who Gives a Crap, maybe because they're Australian, and go for the higher quality. Apparently the smaller one is a little bit thin, so you use more. The reel that I've got here, I've been trying to unsubscribe because moving. I've got to stop my subscription. Let's say it's been a challenge trying to find out how to unsubscribe. So
Okay.
I'll get there. I've tried it twice and it hasn't happened. And I went, okay, I have to do it next month. I mean, there's no doubt I have to change.
I haven't checked your website for a bit, but do you have recommendations on household products and where to get them on your website?
Yeah, I do. I have, it's a shop and you can have a look at the affiliate programs. There's, I'm with Tilly who do beautiful teak cooking utensils.
Yes.
I have certain plastic, it's these plastic bags from Respect. These ones are fantastic because I got a whole variety and I gave them to my husband. I said, can you open these? So the ones he could really open with ease, they're the ones that I have on my website. And you can get them there and they come to your door. They really do. And they've got the whole selection from gallons to small. And they're
Beautiful.
compostable.
Well, we are almost at the end of our hour here, but what an amazing conversation we've had. Thank you for all of the great tips and ideas and alternatives and education awareness that you provided for us today and for our community. So share with our listeners how they can learn more, how they can have you be a speaker and be able to follow you.
Yeah, I have a website called move-me.org. And there you can go to the affiliates and shop and you can see all the companies that I am supporting who are supporting me on my journey. I do get a little percentage, but out of that, I work out there's a good 10 to 15% that I donate to helping the oceans. You can do a discovery call and say, hey, look, I'd love for you to come and talk to my children. So I've been going to schools and sharing what kids can do at home and just say, look, always be kind to your parents because life is hard and life is a challenge. But you can guide them through by here's the bag that we're going to go shopping with. No, don't get the plastic bag. So kids have been amazing. And a lot of them, I mean, this one little girl, she was like 13, and she came up to me and she hugged me and she goes, thank you. Because it's nice to know that someone really cares about how I'm going to get older and I don't want the plastic.
Mm.
And it really touched me. I just went, oh, really?
That's so beautiful. So beautiful. I love that children are a wonderful audience for you. I mean, all ages, of course, but that just really blesses me because they're going to hold their parents accountable.
Yeah.
Kids are
And you
like
can
that
do it.
when they
And
get
I always tell them, be kind to your parents. Their lives are busy.
yeah, we're all the best we can.
Yeah.
And education is huge because now those of us on this call, those listening afterwards to the replay, we have that education now that we can implement into our lives. We don't have to feel helpless. We can, good consumers, and from our purchases, we can make a difference for those who are, you know, providing, if there's enough people that go to Reel and Plant Paper and different other resources, I bet Costco will get a different brand, right? Make a
They will.
difference.
Yeah. Because they
So
don't want to lose you as a customer. They
no,
don't. They will
no,
listen
they
to
don't.
what customers are asking for.
So Tina,
Yeah.
would you leave us with a fabulous last thought here?
A fabulous last thought is you can save the oceans from your kitchen sink. There we go.
It ties a bow around it. Beautiful. All right. Well, thank you. So remember
Thank
to
you.
make every connection an exceptional connection.